strangers, like verify identity, something like that?
Identity is a tough problem, yes. So,
can you make some examples of what identity is used for strangers?
okay, great. First, let's talk about humans.
Okay.
So I see basically two ways of handling identity. The first way is hierarchical, where you've got some bureaucracy, which is managing a database and parceling out identity documents. This kind of seems familiar, doesn't it? And then people in the network trust a third party to maintain an accurate bureaucracy. However, there's another model called the web of trust, and this is how we operate on our social lives. When you trust one person and then they trust another person, a friend of a friend means more than some random stranger on the street. And so with Factom you can do a graph database, and I'll get to that maybe a little bit later. And so a graph database will do the web of trust identity.
Is this part of the framework, or is it you have to do it yourself?
And blank paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have to have somebody sign your chain. That third party has to sign your chain.
You can sign it yourself. So
No,
you have a
get
friend.
Trust of the friend of a friend. The mutual friend has to sign your chain, I guess, for the friend to trust you.
I'll go over some on the whiteboard a little bit later. But so let's go back to playing with the software. Did everyone get Factom installed?
Good.
Question?
Where should we be at this point of the workshop?
I don't know, what time is it?
So everyone should have Factom installed. Is that what you're saying?
Did everyone get Factom installed? Who wants it? Okay, good.
If you have questions, please raise your hand. This is the time.
Okay, so now I'm going to go to the community tester directions. This basically walks you through turning your Factom node into a local server. It's still in the Factom project, Factom docs directory. Developer Sandbox. Developer Sandbox. This community tester directions is how you install your source, but I don't think you guys need to do that. So with the Developer Sandbox, we have a private key here. This guy here has 300 factoids on it, and that's more than enough to prime your system to put as much data into the system.
What's a factoid?
What's a factoid? Never mind.
This is once we configure the mode on server. It's already configured to use the testnet.
When you update the config file.
Okay.
So
We got distracted.
okay, so install the Factom binaries. We then make a directory called .factom. This is a hidden directory. So on Mac, you might have to unhide hidden folders. Same on Linux. Windows has a different way of having hidden folders. So that just goes in my home directory here. Factom. And so it's the home directory in Windows and in Mac and
That config file, if
Yes.
you want us to edit it,
Yep. So you're going to take that this config file and save it to that .factom directory, and then we're going to edit it. Oh, can you not download it? So I'm going to change the node mode to server, and then we're going to give ourselves a whole lot more money. So instead of factoids being worth 15 cents, they're going to be worth $11 million. Or something along those lines.
Do you see where it's only right now on the screen? Yeah. You did
So
it.
that's right here. Okay. And then I also like to change the log level here to debug. It's obnoxious when you're running on a full node because it'll make 100,000 files on your file system. But when you're just running a sandbox, it's helpful.
Where are those files created? In the .factom?
In the .factom directory, yes.
Under what folder?
Data. Okay. And then run Factom D. So it starts up, gives you a few messages, and it starts listening on its API port.
Quick question, does RPC start by default when you run it?
Yes.
Okay. So we should probably change those username and passwords.
For the Factom D, there's not a whole lot that's there.
Okay.
For Wallet D, then that one does have a wide open API.
It's not like some of the other ones out there that basically have like system level commands to RPC and stuff. You said it's pretty limited, right?
Not for the wallet. So
But for the
for Wallet D, yeah, it's wide open API without a password.
Okay.
So it's relies on network protections.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the multiple programs. So we got Factom D running. We have another tab over here.
If you need help getting Factom D running, Matt is running around helping. There's a question.
And then I open another terminal, and then I run FCT Wallet. This handles all the private keys. And that opens up an API on another port. And then I open up a third tab. I can do Factom-CLI properties, and that tells me that I'm connected to both Factom D and FCT Wallet. And I'm ready to go. So scroll down a little bit on the developer sandbox. I don't want to really talk about factoids that much. As a developer, all that matters is entry credits. Factoids are a way to get entry credits. You can also use a credit card on the website. But once you have the entry credits, that's all you need to do to access the system.
Sorry to slow you down. What were the 3 commands you ran earlier?
Factom D, FCT wallet, and then Factom CLI, Factom-CLI, to see if that works. See if they're running.
Okay.
If you got any network configuration errors or something like that. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically copy these lines here and paste them into the terminal. These are going to import a bunch of import the private keys and allow me to have entry credits and not have to do a bunch of fuss. All right, and then down at the bottom it says success submitting transaction. I can do Factom -CLI balances. And what this does is this shows me I've got nearly 300 factoids left, and I've got 1 million entry credits to put as much data into the my local system as I want. And so we basically just short-circuited the entire copy with this one. So
Are you guys using Ethereum on the back end or?
no,
I saw you
Not yet.
Ethereum API.
there's we're planning on anchoring into Ethereum, but that gets more into the back end of the security model of Factom itself. And I don't really want to talk about that.
Okay.
We did Ethereum was Geth was written in Golang, which is what we wrote our thing in. But it was, we tried to interface with it, and it turns out none of the APIs were available for Golang. So we had to write our own APIs to actually interface with Ethereum. So work with it. Yeah.
And now that we have this set up, so is this the, I know when we read the thing that was like testnet 3 equivalent, was that when we changed the node mode to from server or from full to server?
Exactly.
And that's where it became testnet
Yep.
equivalent? Oh, because we're only
Local
loading
testnet.
local
It's-
server.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's more of a SIMnet, but more people know what SIMnet is. Okay, so first let's go ahead and establish one of these channels, one of these chains in our system, and we can do that using this Factom CLI make chain command. If you're going to have an application in your hackathon that uses and creates lots of chains, that can be done at the API level. I find it easier just to make one, and then typically that's all you need. If you're going to do something like a graph database where you have different identities that all have their own chain, then you probably want to make a new chain programmatically. But I'll just show you guys how to just make one, and then programmatically use the API to use it. So, copy paste. So,
Is there a Python library available?
There's some not so good ones that don't probably do what you want. But it's just
PC, right?
it's just JSON calls.
Oh, it's just JSON? Okay, cool.
I mean, there's a little bit of sophistication with two API calls, so use the wallet one too. So first, what you do is you make your data, you then pay for it, you create a transaction that pays for it. The wallet does that. And then you submit the transaction that paid for it to Factom. It's broadcasted. And so now you've paid for this data. It doesn't know what the data is. You just paid for the hash of it. And then you broadcast the data. And then it sees that you've paid for that data. So that's basically the steps that we go through. So the Factom CLI handles both those steps and abstracts it away. So why don't I talk a little bit about what we're looking at here? So we're just putting to standard out the just some text, and then we're piping that into Factom CLI. It likes to pull things in from standard out. And then make chain. That's the command to make a new chain. So okay, so we've got the chain name, which is a series of. It can't be text. In here, it's text. You've got these different elements of the chain name. Those all get concatenated and hashed together and turned into a 32-byte hash. And that is your chain ID. And that is the way that all these different, that's the way your channel is identified, by this 32-byte chain ID. So this first one here, that's the first chain name element, and then you get another chain name element. And so basically the chain ID is hashing the two together in a funky way. And then zeros here, this is the key, which is going to pay for the data to go into the system. It's actually the 32 bytes of 0, which is the private key, so it's not a very secure private key, but we're not going for security. So let's run this. Okay, so it does one thing, it waits a little while. So first it does the payment, it waits for a few seconds, and then it broadcasts the transaction. So this is the chain ID that we're going to use for now, because it's starting to pay. So let's do a little bit of debugging. Let's see if this actually works. So if we go to our .factom directory, and then to the data directory, and then export, and so this is that chain ID that we just made. So this is confirmation. It went through all the internal machinations of the program, and now it printed this out, and we can dive down in here. And in block number 43, we had some data in the system. Let's see.
So what's that? Is that like if you commit and review?
Yes, it did both. So this is the reveal that we're seeing here. The commit is going to be inside one of these other chains that's administrative overhead, and that it gets extracted away.
Issue creating the first chain.
It's just my
So
looks like it worked.
he shows like it worked, but the problem is whenever I go to export